Welcome, everybody. Today, got another guest for you. I promised I'd keep bringing you the most positive people, the most influential people, the best there is, experienced and new alike. Today, I have the pleasure of sitting down with Chris from EPICSTYLE. Chris, thank you for coming. A complete honor. Love what you do. Love your energy. Love everything you do. You're a perfect example of what people should strive to be in this hobby.
You're too kind.
It's the truth.
Too kind.
It's the truth.
I appreciate
it's the truth.
By just trying to be myself every day, every outing, every interaction, whether that's with friends, customers, just regular people at a show that have no interest in a gecko, just coming to check out snakes and reptiles and whatnot. Whether that's the people that are the janitors, whatever, cleaning the place, walking by, checking the stuff out, man. I like to have fun. I like to joke. I like to, that's how I feel comfortable. And so that just flows off me real easily. So
awesome. Can't laugh in life, then what the hell's the point of living, right? I mean, if we can't have a little fun and all right. So for the people out there that may not know,
okay.
Maybe a little bit myself included, if you could explain to me, who is EPICSTYLE? What would you say? What give me your elevator pitch, if you will.
Yeah, no, you're good. This is going to be a long elevator. No, I'm just playing.
Absolutely. We have 30 floors.
EPICSTYLE is me and my family, starting with my wife, Karen, all the way down to our son, Desmond, and our daughter, Zariah. They are a fundamental part of this whole thing of me being able to do it, us being able to do this, and how this started out as my dream, passion, excitedness to be in this hobby, and turned into something that is able to be a job for myself, and allow me the flexibility to homeschool our oldest son, and kind of go on adventures and trips together. Yeah, it's a lot of reptile related stuff, but taking a few extra days and maybe hitting some different stops on the way to Pomona for Super Show, or just checking out different sites and taking those times and seconds. Because when I was a kid, we didn't travel nowhere. And so being able to, you always want to have your kids have something better than you, and you want to push them to do better than you and stuff like that. And if my dad was still here, I know he'd be so proud to see what we're doing. And I want to elevate my kids and let them see the enjoyment, because I had no means or any interest of thoughts that I would ever own my own business when I was in high school or in college. Thought owning your own business was like you had 500 employees, maybe 50, but like you owned suit, tie every day, doing that type of stuff. And hey, man, people that own a lawn, that mow lawns and stuff like that's a lot. That's a small business. People that do these small things, those small businesses sometimes get overlooked and overshadowed on that part. And being a part of that community and being able to like go to those events in our community section and be a part of that is really neat and impactful. And I hope that like my kids are seeing that going forward. But this just all started from us getting a bearded dragon, and
really?
we weren't ready we wanted to get a puppy dog. We both worked the 9 to 5, sometimes me 8 to 6, 8 to 7, long hours. And the whole like storybook thing where, your kid grows up with a puppy, they become best friends, that whole storybook type thing. I didn't feel it was right for a puppy to be in a kennel all day. And I'm like, well, we could get an older dog, but I want a puppy. That's what I want to get, And so I was like, well, let's not get a dog right now. Let's find something else we can have with us, we can enjoy, we can bond with and stuff like that. We weren't too good at fish, a little tricky. We had a couple hamsters named Fluffy. And so we started looking at different things, and we really liked the fire-bellied toads. That's what they were. Okay. Those were really neat, really captivating. My wife and I thought about getting our son some of those originally. And then we're like, you know what? We'll just let him come and pick something out organically and let him, pick that pet that he wants to enjoy and stuff. And so we actually ended up with a bearded dragon. That person that got us that bearded dragon, if they would have said, hey, this bearded dragon is going to change your life, I would have just be talking about it. reptile. How's this
That's
going to change my
awesome.
life? Because at that moment, I was so oblivious. Like, loved watching Steve Irwin, loved
Mm,
watching Jeff Corwin, loved nature, things like that. Had some anoles when I was younger, but as far as like the side of the hobby that I see now, completely oblivious to that. And just so I'm 35 years old. This will be our 10th. This is our 10th year of keeping reptiles as a
that's
family for
awesome.
ourselves. Um, but was completely oblivious to this other side. I'm real big into sports and stuff like that,
Mm,
on that piece of it, but never knew of these expos, never knew of this until we kind of got the ball rolling and going, and just things popped up. We found our first reptile show a couple months later. Um, the wife found it through social media, just because that was things that we were looking up. We were buying crickets from Flukers or
mhm.
and stuff like that, and so that popped up in our local area, and we started just becoming regular patrons at our show and enjoying that connections. Those connections built to me being able to work at the show and at the table for the person that kind of put on the show and stuff. That friendship led to me being able to travel to different cities and helping them set up their booth at those places. And so it was like a little reptile internship that I got the first three and a
Yeah,
half, 4 years into this. And it got to that like year three, I started to realize that, hey, like I kind of want to do this myself. I want my name to be on the table. I want to go and do different shows and spread my wings and stuff like that. And so we started putting the pieces together and brainstorming different ideas and names and topics and stuff that we wanted to enjoy, and that piece started to come together. And finally I was like, hey, I'm gonna, at the end of this month, I'll give you a month heads up. I drive the product and stuff for them. If for some reason, like it lingers over a little bit, I don't mind driving the stuff a little longer. That's no big deal. But just a heads up, I want to start branching out and doing your shows, but I also want to do some other shows as well and kind of get our name and our brand going for us at the shows. Whereas locally, also, we do educational programs, birthday parties,
mm,
events. We just finished up like 8 different programs this spring at the
that's
libraries and
awesome.
stuff, just taking animals out for kids and adults and everyone to check out and see that kind of erase that stigma about reptiles and stuff on that part. It's
For sure.
fascinating because it's all walks of life of people that come through there and sign up for these programs to check it out. Some that are very interested, and some are only there because they know their kid will like it. And breaking those molds and barriers for them to interact and enjoy when that happens. Like, that's my favorite part, when it's someone that doesn't want to touch something. By the end of the program, they're touching everything we bring out. It's really unique and
It's
very
awesome.
special.
Really
And
is.
so like this
Really,
has
really is.
been no journey I could ever imagine, just the different people that I've got to meet along the way. And that's I think we're at the top to the 32nd floor. That's my elevator pitch.
Keep going. I'm listening, brother. I love it.
But
I love it. I think it's you
yeah,
said so
that's
many amazing things. That's one
it's
question I do
crazy.
have though is how
Yeah, fire away.
the person you were vending for, were they dealing with New Caledonian species, and how did you transition from the bearded dragon to the New
Oh,
Cal
good
stuff?
question. Yeah. No, that's a good question, man. I kind of made that easy and kind of skipped over that part there. The person I worked with, they mainly had supplies, cages
Okay.
and bedding and insect feeders, and then maybe some bearded dragons, some leopard geckos, maybe a few snakes here or there. So it was nice that it taught me to. I had to research stuff, selling products, or when people bought something from somebody else, they needed to come to us and get the supply. So I had to make sure that I was very knowledgeable in making sure their setups were getting done right. Because we've
Mm-hmm.
all seen the horrific setups and the advice that you get
Fortunately.
sometimes from certain pages or certain people that you want to make sure that I'm doing them justice and doing it right for them on that part. So we followed back I started with ball pythons. I was at
Really?
that's that I feel that when you go to a show, sometimes people say there's too many of them. Sometimes
Mm,
they feel like there are a lot of them,
yeah.
but I feel that that's sometimes the lifeblood of the hobby.
Mm,
Without those numbers coming through the door, or those people like me being interested in buying, like at one point I was up to like probably 80 to 90 ball pythons.
Really?
And that's when I
I
really,
didn't know that.
yeah, that was really early. And when when I got to the point to where I decided that I was going to focus on building our brand EPICSTYLE, was when I wanted to I started looking at and seeing like, oh man, the ball python market is definitely the race to the top. How do I differentiate myself? How do I set myself apart? What genetics do I have currently? What can I make? Um, and what I bought was animals at the time that were either really good deals, babies that I was waiting to grow up because that was cheaper for me at that time. Um, and then I noticed that what I just wasn't for where I wanted it to go. The pairings and the genetics I had weren't comparable to make that happen. And so that's when I started selling off ball pythons when I would go to shows, posting them for sale. And then uh, it's crazy, like funny that the main thing that we house are Leachianus geckos.
Mhm.
The first time I remember seeing one, I'm like, oh, that's not cute. Like, that's kind of weird. I don't know. I don't know about these geckos. These are kind of funny. Uh, and so to then fast forward probably, I would say 5, 6 months, I went to a couple shows more near the Chicago area, not a Tinley yet, but some smaller shows. And there was some more interaction, some other breeders in those areas that had them. So I kind of got to see them up hand and up close and personal and stuff like that, which definitely changed my opinion of them then
Well,
from that piece. And so from there, I was like, oh my gosh, absolutely love these guys. Like, these are really cool. I want to keep them. I had no intentions of wanting to breed them at the time. I want to keep them. And I just need a couple in my collection. They seem really cool. They're not as jumpy as cresteds. They get really big. This is great. So
sure.
I found one on Craigslist. Crazy. Just happened to be looking, which I haven't looked at
Really?
Craigslist for an animal in like ages. That sounds weird to look for an animal on Craigslist, but I found one on Craigslist. I ended up not getting it. My wife's like, you don't need that right now. So we headed. So I messaged my friend I used to work for at Cold Blooded Expos, Jason, and his son was really into him as well. And I was like, hey man, I'm not getting this. I know you're out of town. Do you want to get it for your son? I'm just letting you know. So just in case he's like, you know what? I'll grab it if you wouldn't mind getting it. So I went up, he paid me back obviously, but I went up, got the animal, paid for it, kept it at my house for like a week and a half. And then,
There you go.
and then, and then took it over to them when they got back from vacation. And after that, literally, I was like, I have to have some lychees. That thing was so flipping cool having it out, getting to interact with it, watching it eat in the evenings when we fed it. Um, I was scouring the webs to find some, and like lo and behold, on the Facebook group, I found somebody local. I didn't know there was anybody local in our area working with him at the time. But his company name is Reptile. His name's Connor McCrites, and I bought 2 little babies from him. And that was so that would be in at the end of July when I bought those in 2019.
Okay.
And so then fast forward a year,
Come a long way.
I so fast forward to from 2019 to 2020, roughly. COVID makes things weird. I was up
Definitely does.
to like five. Yeah, I was 5. Had three babies, and I bought a potential pair. They weren't paired up, but they are both Moros. They're both living together. It's Butters and Jelly. They live together to this day. I think in the last like 5 years, I think I've produced a total of like 35 or 36 babies from them.
Wow.
And so that original pair I'd end up getting from my friend Connor. I was like, hey, do you know anybody to reach out? Do you have anything of size? Or I know it's crazy to ask, but I'd be silly if I didn't. Do you have any breeders that you're moving on from or whatever? And so I messaged, we talked back and forth. I messaged a couple other people out in the hobby at the time, and his deal when we were talking deals, his deal just seemed fit the best, and he was local. I'd already got some stuff from him, and
Sure.
so I was like, hey, let's roll the dice on this and see how that goes and stuff for it. And haven't looked back since. So then rolling into the fall of like 2020, I bought a little small collection locally, and then fast forwarding around to like that summer of 2021 is when we made our LLC official, and then we made a big purchase and bought about 20 leechies. Most of, I'd say about 14 of them. I guess 6, 7. I'd say 12 of them. If I had it, 12 were adults. Some already paired up, and then they had produced some babies that we also picked up from them as well. And
Nice.
awesome people, great friends of ours. Their original business was cages out of Minnesota, cages with a K. They made those, and then they switched, and now they actually dabble in the ball python area. Their name is Ghost Constrictors. Zach
That's
and Rose.
ironic, huh?
Yeah. So I think I thought it was kind of funny on that part. Really good friends, which I had no clue that they had Leachianus geckos like that until they were moving and downsizing some stuff, and the cage business for them had really became just their main focus, and just unfortunately it didn't provide enough time for the animals with them.
Yeah.
The demand of cage, and they were real like cages for them would get you a cage, like it would be like a 7 to 10 day run, like you would have your cage out to you. That's how much they wanted to keep those
That's
leads
impressive.
down and stuff like that. They weren't big on like going to like Reptile. They'd go to a couple shows, but he was like, my website outsold me at this show today. I have no need to be at a show. Like, I'm like, dang, must be nice.
Yeah.
But no, great people, love them to death. So that opportunity arose, and we did that, and so that really was like the lifeblood, or the start of pushing everything. And this is what I'm gonna make. This is gonna work. I'm gonna figure out how it happens.
Sure.
I feel very comfortable in this process, and let's do it and make it happen. So
very natural.
That's kind of how.
It's very, very natural. I mean, I don't know you as a ball python breeder, but and I don't even really know how to explain it. But when I look at everything you do, it just says geckos, man, like leechies, like that too, dude. Because most people don't go that route, bro. I mean, you know as much as I do. People, this is a very, normal, I guess. What's the word? It's not a natural approach, if you will. People start with the cresteds and evolve and go on. You went right to the top.
I will say, when I think about it, sometimes like cresteds are cool, and they have their space, and I have a few, but I don't breed too many cresteds.
Yeah.
I have a few gogs here and there. I went back and forth and stuff like that. Production there. You were joking around. I meant to message you back and say, you need to like send my chewies a love letter or something like that. If your chewies are over there breeding like crets, like sometimes I get some at 77 days. Sometimes I get some at 290 days. Like it just
really,
it's just so. And I don't know if it's maybe I'm too leechy focused that I have them set up pretty similar, which I wanted this year and I didn't get around to it. I wanted to offer a little more UVB and stuff.
I do all full time.
Yeah. And so, because I was talking to somebody at Tinley, I was like, man, my wife really likes the chewies. I'd like to produce more of them. It seems like when I have them on the table, they're going like hotcakes and stuff like that. But it doesn't put out as much as like the leechies do for me and stuff on that part of it. And it was crazy that like, okay, skipped all those levels and went right there though. Like, it's like, you know what?
I think it's awesome.
I'm not going to worry about those.
I think it's awesome, man. I commend you on it. Like that's people, some do it for a monetary reason. I feel, they work their way up to it because leechies are a big investment.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You just did it, man. Like, and that's, I commend you. I think it's amazing. I think it's beautiful. I think you did it very well. You do it very well. You're obviously producing some phenomenal animals. I mean, so you learned. You seem like a super inquisitive person. If there's something that interests you, you're going to learn all there is about it, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think anybody in this type of thing that's,
Yeah.
whether you're at a show, you're watching a podcast, we're talking back and forth like we are right here, right now, a part of one. You go to a buddy's place and you see his stuff or something like that. You just kind of, what can, oh, I like that. How can I make that my thing, or how can I add this to what I'm already replicating over here? Because I think that is very
Sure.
beneficial in that aspect and stuff.
Sure.
So always trying to have that thinking cap on, and maybe it doesn't get done right away, but I try to make notes and ideas for how I want to process things, and figure out, like, right now, my gecko room and stuff, like, we're pretty close to outgrowing it.
Really?
Not sure exactly what our current plans are this summer, but there could be a change to them possibly, which is always good in that aspect, which will allow more room. And so
Awesome.
I'm excited and nervous. I say nervous because no, I guess I'll say it. This is gonna be so. It's gonna kick my butt. We're Our hopes are to, like, we would like to move this summer towards like the end. Um, we haven't 100% decided where that move might be,
Okay.
but looking at a few different places. Um, but the thing that kind of makes me nervous a little bit, not that I care, as long as the animals are fine, that's the biggest thing for me. Um, I'll go back. I think it was 2 years ago. We had to redo our basement wall. We had a crack come in, and water was getting in when it would
Water.
rain and stuff. And so they came out and they did some stuff to the wall and redid some stuff. And I moved all the geckos out because I didn't want them to be, like, irritated by the sounds or something like that. And then I think with me moving them out to upstairs and then moving them back down, and kind of the room dynamic changed a little bit.
Mess their cycle up.
And so, yeah, so everything kind of, like, petered off. And it took me like 5 weeks to realize it, which was like, I'm like, man, still no egg, like, because we keep tags on everything. You can see
Nice.
like production. So when we're looking through stuff, we can look and be
Nice.
like, all right, it's time to look for eggs in here and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm like, man, why are we finding like nowhere across the board and stuff? Uh, and then this room, it's changed a little bit, and how the temperature is affected, and the wall, this wall being different now has changed how
Sure.
they all, yeah. And so, like, and
Sure.
what ended up happening is, so my season kind of prematurely stopped, and then we picked up late. Like, I started getting eggs again in, like, November and December and stuff. Like, so it was weird, but it was fun. So I'm
Interesting.
interested if we do move and how that goes, how everything kind of goes on that part. Because we
Yeah.
went from 10 pairs this year all the way up to 20 pairs this year.
Really?
So some of the things that are really exciting this year, I think, are geckos that I bought that were, just these little
Isn't
guys and
that
stuff that
cool, man? That's the most
I was
rewarding.
so rewarded. Things that I bought and
All my
spent money
leeches I
on.
bought that big, man. All of
Yeah,
them. I made all my geckos, really, in theory. All my about 30 chihuahuas, I bought them all as hatchlings. I
yeah,
waited 4 years, 3 years, and like 8 months until I paired them all.
yeah.
Raised every single one of them, hand fed them, you know what I'm saying? But like
Mm-hmm.
with tongs, and raised these things to one day hopefully pair them. This is the first year I got going where I finally have about 20 something of the 30 original chihuahuas are all, they're all parents now. All of them
That's
had
awesome.
eggs this year, and I
That's
just think,
cool.
I know you would appreciate it, is what I'm getting at. Is that it's
Yeah,
super special when you buy these baby animals, raise them until the point where they're mature enough to breed, which is a significant amount of time with new Caledonian species, and then they start producing babies. I mean, it's
yeah. No, because
super
you can,
rewarding, man.
like, when they get on the cusp of it, you're like, oh my gosh, like, you're so
Mm,
close. Like, this is
uh,
fascinating. Like, maybe this fall I'll be able to pair you up, maybe, or maybe, maybe I have to wait a little bit longer. But, like, holy cow!
yeah.
Like, Well, I guess it's been like 3.5 years. So
No.
this is, and then like I have a couple that we've hatched out um, that I've produced in house that are also now
That's
breeders and
cool.
stuff, which is
Very
really
cool.
cool on that part of it. So I'm very excited for those pairings and those babies, and hopefully, knock on wood, that there's
Right.
no there's no crazy fighting, which is something I really haven't dealt too much with as I watch this pair chase each other around their enclosure right now. It's kind of funny. It's just the lights on and kind of funny that they're doing this, and I think it's kind of covered, so it's kind of dusk for them. But it's funny watching them chase each other around over here.
What type of
But
animals do you? I don't know what type of animals do you work with? Are you a color pattern type of breeder?
good question.
Yes,
Yeah, no, good
or
question.
locale.
Because I feel that I try to have a little piece of each part. Um, just because I want to be able to please not only you when you come to my table, but the next three people when they come by. I
Sure.
may not be able to have the exact thing, but like, so locality based right now, what I'm producing, I have Moros, I have Nuanas, I have some. They are pure GTs in the fact that they are GTs, but they are like GTA, GTC in that aspect, which is a whole nother topic and
Sure is.
and debacle
Sure
of how
is.
you want to slice that pie, which we can get into, which is always fun. And I love educating and talking to people on that aspect. I wish I had a card with me. So not a card, but so on our cases, like if you were to see us at a show, um, so
Is it on your
I write the,
Instagram? I could pull your Instagram up,
I don't,
which I will eventually anyway. We can
yeah,
show the
no,
people.
I don't think it's on there. I don't have my phone on me either, so I'd message the wife to bring me one down, but it's all good. So just if you think of like how you label reptiles as in like, um, male is 1.0, female is 0.1. A lot of ball
Mm-hmm.
python things kind of talk about that section there. That moment up here, those croc monitors were super cool, by the way.
Oh, is that what those
That
are? I didn't even look.
though,
I thought
yeah,
I, for some reason thought they were like
captive
water monitors.
captive bred croc monitors, dude. These things
Wow.
were they were like 3 weeks old. The guy was
Oh, it
encouraging
is a
people to come
croc.
over and handle them and stuff like that. Puppy dog, like pure puppy dog. Like I had to bring my son over. He said, "Yeah," I'm like, "You have to come over here. Let's get a picture with you with this and stuff." But super cool. Um,
That
but
is
uh,
awesome.
but yeah, no. So I labeled a male first on all my information. So if it is a
Okay.
cross locality, so I would say Pine Island, Nuana, and then I would have a big X that's separating. That would be all of dad stuff to the left of the X, and then to the right of the X is going to be mom, and say she's a Moro. On that part of it, if it's just a Moro, if it's just a pure locality gecko, then I'm going to say that those are going to be, this top one here, that's Morton. The bottom one is Fog. I got both of these guys as babies. Um, Picked this one up at
Beautiful.
Dallas in ERBC, the top one up at Dallas in ERBC, and the bottom up at Tinley in ERBC. The bottom one's from JBI Reptiles, Bob over there. The top
Okay.
one is from Texas Lizard Connection, Scott.
Beautiful.
Um,
Beautiful.
But that one there is just a super high color cross there. Some GT
Mhm.
stuff with some Nuana in that one. Um, but I actually, the reason I bought him is I have his older brother, and his older brother
Oh,
makes some
cool.
sick babies, and he puts his older brother to shame. And
Really?
so when I looked at the thing and I said, "Is this one, this line for you?" He's like, "Yep." I'm like, "I'll take it." um, but I have Nuanas, Moros, GTs, and then like when I first started out, a lot of things just easier for me to get my hands on and
Mm-hmm.
spending money wise and stuff like that were crosses.
Sure.
The biggest thing for me was buying cross localities from people that I could have a relationship with
Mm-hmm.
and could trust. Um,
Sure.
kind of,
Sure.
I tell my ball python friends and talk to them like the biggest thing, or people that are getting into New Caledonian species, especially Leachianus, um, is think of it like ball pythons or just snakes in general when they're talking about hets. and take out the fact that now they have shed testing for these things. You were buying your hets from someone reputable, and you were buying them from someone, because we all heard the horror stories of, oh, I bought this thing, it says it's het albino. And
Absolutely.
you try it 2-3 years, you raise it up, or don't have to raise it up because you bought an adult. And you try it a couple times, you don't get anything out of it. And then lo and behold, you find out it's not really that, because someone said it was. They wanted 25 extra bucks or whatever, on that part. And so that's my biggest thing, like, in general, with just this hobby and being so Leachianus specific.
Very important. It's very important to Leachies.
That when you're you don't have to buy from me. I just want to give me a little bit of time to educate you and let you know, like, what's important, or why this is important. Like, because if you're just wanting a Leachianus gecko, you can go find a Leachianus gecko for $250. You could probably go find one at a show.
That much?
Yeah. And so it's at some tables, and that's the tables that have a whole, like, oddball, maybe 300. But I was at Dallas, and there were some that were like I think there were some for $250 on a table, but they had a whole wide variety of things on there.
I get it for the consumer, but for the animal, that kind of sucks for the animal,
Right?
Sad as it is, I think prices
People
will
see something they want to move.
Yeah,
and it's not like it's not hard to feed a leech. It's not hard to feed a New Caledonian gecko. It's not. No. It's not breaking the bank. No. Like that's my other favorite part about it. Like, I still have snakes, so me and a buddy, we raise rats together. We alternate weekends cleaning because we're usually both busy. It's great when we're both there because we can chit chat and stuff like that, and make light of it and all that stuff. But like, I don't have to raise rats to then feed my snakes to get my snakes all pumped up for the season and stuff like that. I go upstairs, I grab a bag of Pangea. My Leachies are not big on insects. I've tried over and over again and gave up.
Mine neither.
No interest at all. So I'm like, you know what? This says complete diet. I've talked to a few different people. I've talked to John at Pangea a couple times about it. We're good. I feel pretty comfortable. Everybody looks healthy on that part.
Very healthy animals. Very healthy animals.
And I
don't
try
have
like
fat animals. You have very
that's
healthy
the big thing.
Animals.
I want them to be, good size, not fat, not overweightish, because I think that slows down the male's idea if he wants to breed. And I think that slows down just the ovulations and the cycles and stuff like that, and that part of it.
I agree.
And so you want to
100%.
have a nice, healthy balance for your animals and stuff like that. So this is Mario and Tessa. I have one baby from Mario 2 years ago. He was with a Bayonnaise, because I don't have a Bayonnaise male. I have a Bayonnaise female. And then they laid 2 eggs. One hatched. Unfortunately, the other baby drowned in the egg. And I don't know, the camera won't pick it up very well, but I have, let's see. This, I wish my other camera was working, but that.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's out of these 2?
No, so this is from the dad in a different animal.
Oh, okay.
So, I do have 2 eggs. I do have 2 eggs in the incubator. The top one there is I got it from that group of stuff I bought when I first.
You're keeping that animal, right? You're definitely going to keep that gecko, right?
That's a keeper. Yeah, that's.
I was going to say that's odd when the blotches turn into bars. Don't let it go.
And it's like a creamy smooth color, like that. The bar kind of blotch look to it. Like, it's really nice. I really wish they were together for almost 2 years, and that was the only 2 eggs I ever got from them. So this year I decided to flip flop and move some things around and do some different things for them on that part. And so let's see, that would be, that's Morton. That's that same animal that I was showing you from outside. That was in that outside one. Yep.
So do you find when an animal or a pair is giving you, I don't want to say trouble, but if they're not producing the way you want them to produce, will you make adjustments to the enclosure? Will you what will you do? Will you automatically just say, okay, we're going to try a new pair, or what's your
Um,
process?
I would say like I usually give them the whole season, if not the
Mm-hmm.
start of the next season. And then that way, then if I don't, so if I give them the full season and start of the next season, I'm not seeing anything in between that time, I'll separate them. They can have their own little thing, be individuals, be single. So it gives them time before they go. If I have an idea of who I want them to mate with next, or be a possible pairing and stuff like that. So it gives them a relaxing time, because maybe it was stressful and it just never could
Yeah.
happen because I never saw it and there was never marks or anything like that. But maybe it was a stressful situation for one of them and it just never could happen, or one had no interest. Or if the hard part for me is, where do you draw that invisible line of, they are aggressive breeders? Where do you
Sure.
fall, and how do you, because they do heal really quick, but what are some things that you look out for or try to do? And thankfully I've only had to separate one pair that I felt that like, the
Yeah.
play has got a little too rough for me
Okay.
on that part. But as far as like changing things in the enclosure, that's interesting. I've thought small things here and there, like what could I do differently? Is the humidity and stuff good in here for them? Um, I've changed pieces of cork around, but as far as uh, as a full overhaul or something different, I haven't really done much, other than sometimes I'll remove the female and then I'll have her come back a little bit later and see if
Okay.
that changes anything on that part.
Sure. Sure.
Um,
Sure.
and so I would say there's more to explore in that section on my end,
Mm.
possibly. There.
What do you expect out of your females a year, like clutch wise? What would
Um,
what do you
I don't know. That's a really interesting
gauge
question.
everything off
Um,
of?
uh, as my biggest thing is, I want her to stay. I want her to stay healthy. I want her to look right. I don't
Mm.
want her to be depleted, or
Sure.
um, like sometimes like my cresteds, they calcium crash, or not cresteds, my chewies, they'll calcium crash hard after laying eggs. And I can see when she's about to laying eggs, because like the first time it
Absolutely.
happened, like I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm feeding you, I'm watering you, you have all this stuff, but you look like death. I don't know what's going on here. And then
Sure.
like a day later I find eggs and I'm like, okay, so I'm looking online. Okay, so I up some calcium, do some stuff, put a little
Hmm.
small cup of calcium in there and things like that. And that's how she'll crash real hard when she lays and stuff.
Sure.
I haven't came across personally for me any leechies that are like that in my collection yet. But I'm sure there's a leechie out there or something that does happen
Have you
on that
heard? That's just
aspect.
gonna say. Have you heard they
Um,
do?
I have not, no.
Okay.
Um, I could see it maybe like in like your like your smaller
Yeah.
localities that taking place,
Yeah.
possibly. Um, but oh my gosh, what was your question? What was your question again?
What? How
Um,
many eggs? Like,
oh,
what
eggs,
would you
yeah.
consider
No.
normal, like clutch
Um,
wise, per season?
I would say I would like at least like 3 to 4 sets of eggs if I was
That
looking.
many. Okay.
And I have different not different, not I don't write objectives out. Um, like this pair here. This is a new pair this year. It's Mr. Marlatt and Potato. They laid 2 eggs that we didn't find until a little bit later. I think one's going to be okay. The second one, I don't know. This is her first time having babies though. So I
Okay.
have then I have another girl. Let's see, where's she at? Which is this is her first time laying. But look at she's done 2, 4,
Wow.
6. This is what she's laid so
Jeez.
far. Well, I guess this one's from November. So if you take out this one, because we didn't switch, we just kept that there. So she's laid 2, 4, 6, 8 times already. She's had 8
That's
eggs this year,
impressive.
that's crazy. But she is a Nuana, so she's a smaller gecko on
That
that
was my
part. So
next question. Do you find the smaller locales produce more than the bigger ones?
oh, definitely. So my
Oh,
smaller
they
geckos
do.
will
Okay,
definitely,
I've never
yeah.
asked that
Like
question before. I never asked
my
anyone.
GTs, I would say I'm usually anywhere between 2 to 4 eggs or 2 to 4 layings a year for the season for
Really?
them. On that one, my smaller stuff and my crosses, I can usually get a few more out of them. Nope, don't have any eggs from them yet this year. What about this one? Uh,
I wonder
well,
why that is. Interesting. You think like they
yeah,
come from smaller islands, they don't need to populate as much, right? So they would
right.
produce less, but on the contrary, they produce more. That's interesting. Very
Yeah, no,
interesting.
super fascinating on that part. So I would say anywhere between like my smaller geckos, I would like them to produce 4 clutches, but as if they're producing a couple clutches a year, I'm okay with that. I'm excited if it's, something that's crossed. I want it to look interesting. Like I don't want a cross to be if it looks bland, I'm gonna move on from it a
Hmm.
little bit because like
Okay.
it's just a not like a bad gecko, but it's a cross. So
Yeah.
sometimes people there's several different looks at how you look at Leachianus geckos when you
Hmm.
ask like what do I breed. You have a person that's looking for pure locality, which is in my book hard to say. Is it pure? Is it not pure? We're humans. We
Very
all make mistakes
controversial. Yeah.
on that part. But I want to say that people that have been breeding longer than me and people I look
Hmm.
up to and things like that, that they have good values and good things like that, where
Hmm.
it's
Sure.
important to have lineage and stuff of that means
Sure.
and someone that you trust and you know is not going to fake that type of stuff, uh,
Sure.
to pass those things along and get that in. Or there's just really nice geckos that come from really nice colors and crosses like this one here is super. This is another crossed animal.
What do you look for when you're looking to? And I would understand that it varies from pair to pair. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, what do you personally look for a holdback? Something that you want to carry you into the future? Is there anything in
Yeah.
particular you
So that's the
want,
tricky
or
part right now. Not right now, like so. Um, I when I first started breeding my Leachianus geckos, compared to like a friend of mine, he didn't sell anything off for like the first like 5 or 6 years. So he kept a lot of things.
it's
I
me?
was in a position to where I was going to shows. I had these on the table. So far, which I would joke around and tell people, these three here, these two here are the first. These are the first babies from these two. So I don't know how they're going to turn out. Like I really like them, but I want to be known for lychee, so I have to have lychees on my
Sure,
table. So I'm
sure. You're running a
making
business.
a
You're running a
trade off and
business.
a sacrifice that I maybe this ends up being one that bites me in the dust and like you got a really super good cross here or something like that. And I would be so excited for a person because that's only gonna
Sure,
amplify and the word of mouth is the best thing out there.
absolutely.
But after seeing a few hatchlings and stuff from pairs and you see different you see a different
Hmm.
hue on a baby that comes from that same pair. Like I can show you. It's unfortunate. I don't know why. I had I bought this DJI Osmo thing because I want to start bringing some more
Oh,
content
really?
to our
I have
our
one too.
personal channels, and it was working a little bit.
Good.
And then it hopped off, and so I don't know what I did
Your
wrong.
battery? Is it your battery? Oh no, you got
No
the
batteries.
Osmo. I got the what the hell is
No
is it a
battery's good.
gimbal? A gimbal, the thing you put your phone
Here,
on and records, or you bought the
no,
actual
it's
camera?
actual
Oh, that's the
actual
good. That's the
camera.
badass
Yeah,
one.
and it
Yeah.
was doing it at the very beginning, and then because sometimes I noticed I was looking down, and I needed to look here instead.
Hmm.
I don't know what happened or what changed or whatever on the camera said.
Those things are
Um,
awesome. I
yeah,
bought the
no,
one that
like
pretty much turns my phone into it. Did you hit
oh,
the camera
let's see. Oh, I did. I
the
see it
camera
now. My
button?
bad. Oop.
Yeah.
Allow
But that's cool.
um camera. There we go. Yeah, no. So then this here is a this lights gonna kill me.
Wow. Even look at it, it's so young with that coloring and the
This
spots.
trying to
Jeez.
find the spot, but this is a Nuana Nuami.
Okay.
Very classic looking. It has
Sure.
it has the greens with the whites and stuff like that. Whereas my next one here, hopefully it's fired up. Let's see.
Do you find that when you put colors, like a colored animal to an animal that has white, that color carries over into the white, or what have you noticed with the colors and the genetics and crossing and mixing pairs? Do you find that
Um,
one dominates or is dominant rather?
I see the color start to show up on the outside of the bars in like
Okay.
the blushing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how colorful that animal is, sometimes you'll start to see it seep in to the bars and stuff like that. Like that that one of one I showed you, that very
Mm-hmm.
first gecko I pulled out. The
That's a
mom
special
has
animal.
that mom has some big white bars, and dad you could
Okay.
see has a bunch of color, and that
Yes.
turned those white bars into absolute like pink colors. So then this gecko here has a more darker green to it, and its
Mm-hmm.
bars are actually like a pinkish orangish color. I'm gonna reach over here and I'm gonna grab an older sibling, the very first. So this is GG14. The one before is GG13, and the one I'm about to grab is GG03. So this gecko I'm about to grab was the third
Third
gecko I
clutch.
out of
Third one.
out of this out of Gambit and Gloria, and I
Okay.
noticed right away that there was a different hue that the gecko was putting off. So I marked it as, hey, keep, let's see what's going on here. Um, and
Sure.
I really liked what it had as it grew and stuff like that, and was one of those geckos that we were talking about earlier that you just can't wait for them to get to size and be able to
Mm,
breed and stuff like that.
yeah.
All right, and bring a boyfriend with her too, I guess. So on the top, we have a Bros. This is produced by Reptile, Conor McCrites. But then this bottom one is that same style, that same
Mhm.
hue of that second gecko that I just pulled out.
Yeah.
Camera doesn't do her much. So she's peachish
I can
orangish
see it.
colored
I can.
with
Yeah, I
like
can see it.
a burnt green type color look to her. And then I actually just had some babies hatch out from these two not too long ago.
Ooh,
I think I have right behind me. But then here's her mate.
I
He has
love that
some
look. I love
yeah
that green and white like that.
yeah
I love that look.
no super cool. So this is
Pine
one of the
Island. Is that what a
twins.
Pine Island looks like? Do you have any
I
Pine
can
Island pairs?
yeah
Do you?
I can I don't have a pair yet. I have a male that's waiting for the female to get big enough.
Okay.
Let's see, you're gonna be grumpy gills today. There we go.
Your animals don't seem to be very aggressive. I often I have a much smaller
So,
collection of
um,
lychees than
there's
you
one
do.
pine. He's a little bit darker
Okay.
on that part. And
Okay.
then let me grab. You gonna set there? Let me grab. Where's it at? Oh, right there. Boom.
But the whole misconception that they're super aggressive, I'm always like, I get there's animals that probably are, but it's all up to the person, right? If you desensitize your animals and you hold them and you're doing stuff, they're no more aggressive than a crested gecko. Oh, that's a beauty.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
on that topic there, so that's funny you bring that up. That's one of like, not that I'm super smart or have the key or the answer to this whole thing, but like you said, you work with your animal, you desensitize them. Like if you put anything in a cage and you never mess with it, it's
Yeah.
not gonna enjoy any sort of contact. Um,
No. No.
the other thing I feel is that yes, they are a cage aggressive animal. So
Territorial.
what are yeah how do you get around that? How are ways to make them feel comfortable in that aspect? Um, I try to avoid using rounds, um, which I noticed when was it? Oh, so when I got that first pair and pairing them up, um, I was nervous that one would hurt each other. How am I supposed to know? Are you hurting there? I can't really see.
Yeah.
Let me shove my phone in there real quick. Can't really tell. Okay, well, I think you might be hurt. How do I break this open without hurting you more? And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to use rounds. Uh, I'm going to use halves and I'm going to use flats. I feel that there's still enough pieces of cork in there for them
Sure.
to have the room to move around, to feel comfortable, to feel protected in those areas. But at any time, I have complete and full access to your cage. You don't have a place to go and hide and build up that anxiety that you
Makes
normally
a big
could have
difference.
or would have. And so, not that I've broken some crazy thing, but I feel pretty um, excited, pretty just relaxed in that I feel I know my animals very well in that
It's
aspect of it.
beautiful.
And I try to encourage or pass this information along when someone's either interested in lychees or definitely when they buy one from me and stuff like that. Um, just to help with that stigmatism and stuff on that part to make
Sure.
sure that their interactions are good and enjoyable, that they love it just as much as me and you, that that they're going to be a continual customer and maybe one day want to be a breeder or something on those avenues. Um, like um, like I enjoy it, and yes, this is a business for me, but at the same time, like I love these animals and I love other animals that I have in this, other reptiles that I have in this house that I just keep because it's just so freaking cool
Oh
on that
yeah.
aspect, that it's just so enjoyable that I want to see it
Sure.
keep growing. Um, I want to say like on Morph Market when I first got into lychees, I want to say there was about 40 to 60 on there. And that was roughly around like that 2019 time.
Mhm.
I think last time I looked on there was like mid 900s or so. And so
Really? That many? I didn't even notice.
that's like a 6 year swing,
Yeah.
which is good.
Sure.
Like you so and so Leachianus, yes, it builds more competition. Yes, it builds more of the fight. And are you sticking by your guns and you're going to have your price here? Or are
Yeah.
you going to lower it and do this and whatnot? And that's a different story
Sure.
on that part of it. But to see the hobby growing and this side of the geckos, people are now not coming to the table and saying, "Oh, what is that? Oh, that's a Leachianus gecko." Like I love when I hear that, and I enjoy when what is that, because that's a
I hear
teachable
about
moment.
them from people too. Like I was listening to the Untamed and Uncut podcast, I think, with like
Oh
Forrest
yeah,
Galante,
yeah, yeah,
Forrest
yeah.
Galante, whatever. He's a controversial person himself with his biology stuff, but nonetheless, he was talking about animals one day, and then we were on the podcast, and he was like, someone asked him, like, what's one reptile you would keep if you could? And he was like, oh, without a doubt, a New Caledonian giant gecko. They call them Leachianus, I think. I'm like, you're a biologist, dude. You talk about you think, but how cool is that? Like, this
Right,
dude he's a biologist in theory, no doubt, but it's something that's, it's they're getting known, right? Like they grab people's attention. You can't see one, and maybe you don't want one, but you can't see one and not at least ask yourself to ask someone, like, what is that, right? Like,
right. And
it's
it doesn't feel like any reptile that you felt before. Like
no,
I describe it when I go to like educational events as like it's like a kinetic sand or velvety type feeling. Kinetic sand just because it's younger kids and they can kind of
yeah,
have the idea they've missed with that type of stuff. It
sure,
feels like that. Um, and then just like for the older kids and the parent, when they like how it grips onto you, and like you can
mm-hmm.
feel it, just a different connection. And
Sure,
each one has different nails. Like I have some, their nails feel like daggers, and I have some that their nails don't bother me one bit. Um,
sure,
in that part of it, which is super cool, very fascinating.
very cool,
Um, and so it's crazy how much joy this room or like this hobby brings me on this part. Or just talking about, I've been on
absolutely,
a couple different podcasts and we've already talked about some different things that I haven't talked there. Or like this podcast is very gecko focused. And so I don't have to try to explain things in the
mm-hmm.
terms of this or the
Sure,
terms of that, which is very exciting
sure.
as well. So
When
I've
it
really
comes
enjoyed
to
that aspect.
For sure. When it comes to, and I'm curious, this is a selfish question, when your educational programs, which
Yeah.
I think is amazing, it's a godsend. I love children, right? Like I think they are our future. They are our responsibility, and I mean every child.
No,
Your
definitely.
child is my responsibility. The next child walking
Whether
outside
it's
that I don't know at that bus stop is my responsibility, right? Like,
yeah.
what are some things you teach them? What are some things you try to teach them? What is your objective with your educational program?
Uh, I would say just the clearest objective for me is that I go in with the mindset that maybe most of these kids probably don't have a reptile in their house. Um, Maybe they've never been able to get this close to a reptile. Um, they've looked up, seen all these different shows and have questions, or you've seen all the it's a poisonous snake, and just wrong rhetoric and different things like that. And I just want to show them that, hey, look at this. Like, I never
Sure.
thought that was a career path. There might be something out there in life that you find as a career. It doesn't have to be reptiles, but people say, well, find something you love to do. You never work a day of your life. Um,
Absolutely.
Enjoy your passion, enjoy this, figure it, in that. And, like I thought at one point I had found that when I was working for working for someone else, doing a job, really enjoyed it. But the freedom and the ability this has allowed me has been amazing. But like on the educational piece, just painting these animals in a different light, letting them see that, hey, these animals are really neat creatures once you take the time to understand them. You get to see them. Um, just be just because it's a snake, you don't have to be scared of it. Like, you can dislike it. That's okay. You don't have to hate it though. Hate's a big word
Sure.
on that part. Like I like to take our white snake. Her name, she's a blue-eyed leucistic. We call her Belle. And so like you can't see a white snake and be like, nah, not for
All
me.
right.
That's kind of cool. I might not touch it, but that's kind of cool. Like a white snake, like that's kind
Sure.
of crazy. And
Sure.
then like we have we have melanistic Asian water
What
monitors.
do you? Love them.
We have a couple different tegus. We have an anaconda. We have a berm. Um, Little geckos from leopard geckos. We have the crestids and guards and stuff. Every once in a while, we'll take with us. But we have a scaleless corn snake. Like that's a snake you can find here in
Really?
the United States. Scaleless, really hard. Like playing the lottery, but you can find that in the southern areas.
Good.
We have king snakes. So things you could also find on that part. And so then you just talk about, like, hey, if you go out to, like, I've done some scout things and just but hey, if you don't know what it is, it's important to leave it alone. And you can look
Mhm.
from afar. That's always nice on that part. But if you're ever out herping or in the woods or in your backyard and stuff, best thing is to treat it like you don't know what it is,
So important,
and
Chris. It's so
let
important what you're doing
let it
for our
be,
world. You're
and let it
teaching
be.
these
No,
kids there's
there's
no class like this in school, and there should be.
no.
There should be a class like this in school. You're teaching them, and not only are you exposing them to things that they may not have had a chance to be exposed to, but you're teaching them how to respect this planet. How to respect this planet. You're teaching them how to think. You're giving them things to think about. It's like you said, seeing a snake in the wild. You may not know what it is. Respect it. You don't have to touch it, but you don't have to be scared of it either, right?
No,
Like
it's
we
not
are.
gonna chase. It's not gonna chase you.
No, not a mamba,
um,
right?
and so just the impact and the smile, like kids, kids don't know fear.
Changing the world, bro.
Kids learn. Kids learn fear, or like maybe you have a bad dream, and so that makes you like start processing it a little different on that end of it. But like you learn fears from you can't do this or you can't do that or no, don't
Taught
do that.
fears.
And so when I go to these things, it's ranging from kids that are, 5, 6, all the way up to kids that are, in high school and stuff in those ages. And for the most part, those younger kids, those elementary school kids, man, let me touch that. I am so
It's
excited about this,
freaking
Mr.
awesome,
Chris.
man. How
I
damn
can't
cool is
wait.
that?
And every once in a while you get one, it's not for me, or you get the ones like, did you bring any spiders? I love spiders. I'm like, actually I didn't. I have one at home, but I didn't bring it with me. I'm so sorry I let you
That's
down.
cool.
But
Very
then,
cool.
but then it's the parents or the teachers in the back that are like, you know, and you know, they've had that mindset and that fear upon them of this thing for ages, that it's, you know,
whole lives.
it's literally ABCs and 1, 2, 3s for them on that part. And so when
Sure.
I am able to break them out of that mold, to hold it, put it over their shoulders, touch it, those small little things, those are my favorite interactions at a program right there, is changing the mindset of the adults. Because if you can change the mindset of the adults that you have that are watching over a group of kids, parents, then there have been several families that I've went and done birthday parties for, that they've researched, looked up stuff, and ended up getting a reptile at a later date at some point, because we came out, we educated, we inspired, and showed the parents that it ain't that scary. Like,
sure.
So
that's so cool, man.
Yeah.
That's like, I can't give you enough credit or praise for that. I think that's literally beautiful what you're doing.
Thanks, Anthony. Appreciate it.
You're changing the world, man. You are changing how the next generation views nature. Like that's awesome. You know,
and there's tons of, I tell them there's tons of awesome things. Like, I'm in Missouri, that are out in nature. There's a local conservation place up from us here. It's called Burr Oaks. You can go out there, walk trails, stuff like that. There's really cool, really neat things. Understanding what laws and regulations, like there's a lot of things I can't keep, that are all my stuff comes from different parts of the world, because I can keep that here. And they don't want us taking from, we're trying to preserve and conserve and all that stuff, that they don't want us taking things from the wild. The biggest thing is like, oh, I had a turtle, we took it and did this, and well, what'd you do with the turtle? Like, hey, we should probably, if you see a turtle, you know, if it's in the road, move it across the road, but if you see it, just kind of leave it where it's at. You don't need to take it home with you, like, on that part of it and stuff. So yeah.
Very cool. So where do you see, what is the future for EPICSTYLE? Where do you see yourself? You seem like a very business-oriented person.
Yeah.
What would you say your 5-year goal is? Where do you see EPICSTYLE in 5 years?
5 years puts it, we're at, what are we, 2030, okay. So hopefully in 5 years, I will be producing maybe some of our first Celebrosis, which is the Australian rough throat leaf-tail. I just picked up one at Spring Tinley.
Saw a picture of that. How do you like them? Do you like it, or what? You like them?
As far as like the insect, it's the only thing in my house that has to eat insect heavy. Really, besides like our dragons, but our dragons are all older, so they get more veggies and stuff, and they get insects here and there. But absolutely love it. There's a little keep going up. It was towards, I posted one like a space background right there. Yeah.
My buddy Jason, the guy I do the other podcast with, my partner in this, he has them all. He has like all of the Australian leaf-tail species.
That's cool. I went this one first.
All the ones that are in the hobby.
Right. I went with these ones for just because I already do Leachies. Those are big. Let's go big again.
The biggest
get some of these guys.
And
as temperature wise, it's right here in my Leachy room. Temperature wise, exact same. Super crazy, super easy on that part. I'll do crickets. Right now it's eating like a 3/8. 3/8 to a 1/2 inch cricket right now. I'll feed about every 2 to 3 days. Once a week, I'll do a calcium, and then once every 2 weeks, I'll do like a multivitamin for him on that part. And then I'll make sure to keep the cage sprayed for him on that part. But like, it's when I toss the crickets in there, man, it's fun seeing him hunt them down and stuff like that. So my goal this fall is to pick up some more. I wanted to get 2. Wife said, hey, let's make sure we can do this. And I'm like, all right, that's fair. If I can do it though, I'm buying a few more. And so you
can.
So
they're getting popular.
Phil Trimper's just up the row from. Yeah, Phil Trimper's just up the row from me at Tinley. And
that's actually where Jay's came from too. At least
really?
Some of his have.
That's cool.
We had him on the other podcast. He's a super. Okay. He's a god. He's a book. He's
that's something. Awesome. I want to get from there, and then I want to get some from Brian over at Sundown.
Okay.
Oh, those are just that's it. I like to do little that's so that those reels there that I have posted on it after shows and stuff. Those inspired me to want to get this DJI Osmo to create more content because I got really good feedback from people in the comments or at shows and stuff that show like, hey, we love seeing what you're doing at the show and it's really neat and real exciting and it felt like we were a part of it. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. That's really special. Thanks for letting me know that.
Yeah. Did you edit
And
that?
so
Did you do that?
so
Did you edit it or just stitched it together?
it's stitched. So on Instagram, if you click on the reel section, so what I'll do is I have an iPhone. I make sure I'm taking live photos. I like to use the horizontal frame now, and
Okay.
I'll go through and do. And so when you do the live photo on a reel, it has the movement in there like video. It works out
Okay.
really well on that part.
Yeah, those I was looking at some of them earlier. Whatever software, whatever it's doing, they come out very professional. And
Thank
that
you.
Osmo
Yeah.
thing you got, dude, is like,
Yeah. No,
if I had the
I've only
money to
used it a
get one,
little.
I would have got one.
I scored a good deal. I got a good deal for it. I've got to hang out with thanks to my friends Nick Sloan and Troy Schroeder with Best Dressed Balls and Sloan Reptiles. They put on the All American Reptile and Plant shows, and so I kind of get to be the third wheel of that wagon and help them out and stuff, which has been absolutely amazing. I've got to hang out with Brian Cusco and Dave Kaufman a lot, pick their brains
I've seen you.
for
Yeah.
information and stuff, and actually scored the camera off of Dave Kaufman
Oh,
for a good
really?
deal. Yeah, so that was kind of cool on that part.
Interesting.
But
very cool. Very cool.
I guess in that fight, I would, man.
Where do you want to be? You gotta have. I know you have a plan.
So that my son's 14. My son would be 19. My daughter would be 13. I would love for him having interest in wanting to go and then maybe a couple shows by himself or go set up at a smaller show for a weekend in the local area. Kind of see how maybe he already has a couple geckos in this room that are his. Just from being
Leeches?
home and helping out with stuff that it hatched out. He cared for it. I'm like, hey, pick one of them. You can have one of these. And so maybe he has some different projects or maybe he has what he wants to work with. And at one time he liked hognose a lot. We're in the state of Missouri, so I need to go get like a certification and stuff like that to have hognose here at the moment. And so interested on seeing where they kind of shape up and go on part of it.
How are they now? I don't want to interrupt the question, your answer to the question, but how are the kids handling it? Do they seem to enjoy your son, at least in the picture, seems to be enjoying vending and helping?
So he enjoyed his reptiles at the younger age. We started going to shows, hanging out. He got to go walk around, check out tables and information and get different things. He won a corn snake, like one of our very first time going to a reptile show, named it Rockstar. Then when we had our booth, he turned into being a little artist, and he wanted to make little paintings and artwork and stuff like that. And he enjoyed that. And people would we bought the first round of materials for him and stuff. And we went over, got all the things for him. He would do 4 to 6 pieces or something over the next few weeks or whatever. Nothing great, just at his leisure, what he wanted to do. We'd look at YouTube videos or pictures for him that he could pull up, and so it was fun. He hit the age of 11, and that wasn't cute for him to do anymore. So he kind of ventured off, and he would always go to shows with us, and he'd be at the table. He'd help out if we need something. Or watch the table if I had to go somewhere. If mom had to go, if we both had, if I went, hey, I need mom to come look at this. Could you watch the table? Or hanging out with other vendors' kids that are at the show, which is a cool community. I wish I could have go back in time and be that kid that gets to do all this fun stuff. And I would say in the last 8 months or so, it's the switch has turned to now that he's been behind the table. He's here at the house. He hears me talk about how to care for these geckos over and over and over again with different customers, different avenues and aspects of it. And so he now has all that information in his database. He's very smart in that regard. And so far, I think we've done six or seven shows this year so far, I think. And I would say at most of them, he's sold a gecko, if not a couple geckos. And in most cases, it's been Leachianus geckos from $500 to $600 to he sold one in
That's
April
awesome.
for it. He sold $1,000 gecko. Like
That's awesome.
I had kind of like not given up on the show, but I was like, hey, it's later in the day. I want to go walk around, talk to some people, network. And he called me. He was like, hey, could you come back to the table? I need help finish the sale. And I'm like, okay, got back over there, and someone's buying $1,000, 15 or 1,000, I can't remember.
That's
geckos.
awesome.
And I was like, dude.
So he's
nice
not
job.
going to get tired of it. He's just getting more involved.
Right.
So
I think
awesome.
it's just, it's just getting into my daughter. Since we've been keeping reptiles before she was born, she's like, wait, you don't have a reptile in your house? What's wrong with you? Like, you got a dog and a cat? Where's your snakes? Where's your tortoises?
That's cool.
And so
Very cool.
she absolutely, she loves the geckos when they're babies. She's still in that kid mindset. She's kid, not in the mindset. She is a kid. When they get on her, when they get to a certain, like that, over like probably say that 70 grams or so, it feels weird on her, and like the nails, it kind of freaks her out a little bit on that part. She enjoys snakes. She enjoys tortoises.
She's not scared though.
No,
awesome.
She enjoys it. She loves it on that part. So
very cool.
It's very fascinating, very interesting, and I couldn't.
Good time for you guys to be together. Good bonding. I
couldn't ask for you could, there's so many eggs and there's so many, sperm that come together. How it worked out to end up with those two kids was just a godsend on that part. And I'm
sure you and your wife are a huge part of it, man. That's
definitely.
I tell people all the time, you want to change the world, be good parents. You want to change the world. You want to fix the world, be good fathers, be good mothers.
Yeah, and that I guess I skipped over that. Another reason that I switched from snakes to geckos, the wife would help me clean sometimes. Outside of it, she wasn't scared. The snakes weren't her thing. She liked them as they were babies when they hatched out. As far as like the whole circle of life and feeding rodents and stuff, that was me. She's like, oh, he's cute. I'm like, hun, he's food. And so, so she would help clean with some things if I needed an extra hand because Des wasn't quite old enough yet or whatnot. But when my gecko collection started growing, she kind of got more in tune with that and enjoying it. And I'd be a dummy if I didn't want to spend more time with my wife and she's enjoying this. Let me use this to my advantage. Then you're enjoying this. I already enjoy it. So I'm going to play on you a little bit that, hey, let's grab a couple of these and a couple of those over here because they're just like these and you already like them and they're already easy to care for. I'm not a dummy. Like I may have been born at night, but it wasn't last night. And so
that's awesome.
So that's another, like, it's just, you said describe who EPICSTYLE is. It's me, Karen, Des, Raya, and our friends, man. That could be Anthony, that could be anybody, man. Like, I want you to come up and talk to me, shoot the shit, whatever. See me at a show, come up, say hi. See me on a podcast, see me at a show, whatever. I love it. It's absolutely fun. I'm sorry you missed that all the hair.
I know, right? What happened? What happened? Are you going to change the logo now? I mean...
I know, right? So that's funny. So
is that where the name came from? How did you come up with the name? Explain to us the name real quick. I can't believe I didn't ask that.
Yeah. No, you're fine. So EPICSTYLE, all one word, sometimes confused being two separate words. It was just, us putting pen to paper and writing down names and trying to figure out. Originally, the first reptile name I thought of, I wanted to be NBA Reptiles, real sports geared, blah blah blah. Nothing but awesome reptiles is what I wanted to be. Kind of cheesy,
It's
but
cool.
but in my mind, I was like, man, maybe I could find some artist that could do like some geckos or lizards or something, like playing basketball or just
Mm-hmm.
sports in general. And I was like, you know what? I don't want Adam Silver or the NBA at any point ever having to come after me for anything. So I'm going to avoid that one. And then I'm a big Westbrook guy. His motto is "Why not?" and I embrace that a lot. And hey, why not this? Why not that? You know, and I was like, oh, there's a stigma around reptiles. Why not reptiles? Like, that's really
Love it.
cool. And so I tossed it back and forth. Like, should that have been our name? Just why not reptiles? And I was like, maybe that can be like our mantra, our slogan, you know, our motto or whatever. I think I kind of like it there. I don't think I want that to be our name on that part. So we started. I don't remember the exact moment like EPICSTYLE hit and that was the thing. That was what it was. But I know the reasoning for why we went that was because I wanted that name to be able to be branded as anything else. Like if
Sure.
I start a business as something else or have another thing come under that, it can be under EPICSTYLE, but it doesn't have to be in the reptile section. And if I
Sure.
put the why not reptiles, I'm just branding myself just in that part. And so, not that I know or I want some different growth or different avenue, but I feel that that broad name gives me that ability
The
to
umbrella. It's
kind of pan out and
smart.
have a bigger scope. Um, does it hurt me sometimes? Maybe you see it on a vendor list. If you don't not familiar with who we are, you're looking at it. I don't know. Like it doesn't say exactly what I have for. I don't have a ball python name or
Yeah.
a leechies or whatever. I don't have any affiliation to what I have.
Sure.
But I like it. I enjoy it.
I
The
love
logo
it.
thing definitely.
I
The
love it.
logo thing is definitely funny because our current logo on our big banner that we put up is it's like a burst in the back, and then it's like a snake, and I pay for the Canva app, so I made the logo myself. It's probably way right, scroll down right there where Des is, where my son's at. Next one down below, right,
This one.
right there. Yep. So that's our banner we currently have.
Okay.
The snake's kind of funny because every once in a while I'll have some snakes on the table, but there's not. I would like to maybe that. I thought about changing that to a gecko eye one time and making that because the eye of the Leachianus gecko is just so
Hmm.
unique and cool. I thought about
Sure.
doing that before. Um, don't see that one too often. I've seen like the the handprints and stuff like that a couple times.
Hmm.
Um, but right after I made this big banner was when Robin had reached out about doing the patch thing and doing what our logo is here on our Instagram profile. And I was like, at first I wasn't super sure, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So I messed around and made some stuff, and I was like, well, we got to put the hair in here. The hair's pretty epic, and uh,
I
and
love
so
it.
like I did that and it ended up being really cool. And I was like, man, I just spent $600 on this banner. Why couldn't I have made this before, thrown that on the banner instead of having this little snake behind me? But it's all
It's
fun and
good to have
enjoyable on that
alternates,
part.
different
Yeah.
shows, different banners.
No.
It's
So
cool. It even looks kind of like, I mean, you say the eye, the lychee eye, it almost reminds me of like a snake as the pupil or whatever in an
yeah,
eye.
no.
It's cool. It's awesome. I love the Instagram one. I think that's literally
Yeah,
an
that's
epic
super. Yeah,
logo.
no.
Like it's
Super cool,
very
man.
cool. Very cool in a
No,
patch
and that's
too.
what's
If
yeah,
they
it's a
made it, how did
patch.
they make the
I have
patches? Are they stitched? Or are they rubber?
so you could get stitched ones, mine are rubber, go on just like Velcro and stuff like that.
Mm,
And then I have stickers at our table that are that exact same look right there that we'll have out on the
very
table and
cool.
stuff on that part.
Very cool.
Um, Yeah, no. If you after we're over, if you just went on Instagram or whatever, shoot me your mailing address. I'll send you some stickers out, man.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah,
Absolutely,
no,
hell yeah.
definitely.
Oh, are these them right here? Are these some options you have, or what is this?
Oh,
Oh, it's a reel. Oh God, oh God.
no, you're good. I was just I don't know what I was doing.
That's
The
cool though.
media thing looked the media thing on Canva looked cool. It had the NFL draft sound. It was like Thursday Thursday draft day and stuff, and just a fun part.
So I see the
Love
Palm
that.
Street on there. Are
Oh
you selling? Let's talk real quick about some of
yeah,
your
no,
selling
you're good.
platforms.
No,
Are you
feel free.
selling on Palm Street? How do you feel about these new online platforms in comparison to shows?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And where are you doing your
Was my
most
bulk
business,
happening?
I guess?
Yeah.
Where's your, yeah.
I would say I'll hit that one right off the top. Bulk for me is me in person at a show is where
Okay. Good to
I'm
hear.
making my biggest difference in making those transactions happen. I'm
Good to
still
hear.
trying to figure out the method to the madness, and we have our own website, whynotreptiles.com. The
There you go,
Palm Street
guys. Go check
section,
them out.
our Palm Street section. Um, I've done one live sell on there, and I've been on there a couple times, just kind of like this one here that you can see on the screen. I just went and hung out around the show, showcasing the Charlotte show that we were at, kind
Okay.
of giving the plant people that are on there and some of the other reptile people the idea of the show and stuff. And I thought that'd be neat for me to try to build my customer base or build the people that are on there that know who I am. Because the biggest thing for that website for Palm Street is you got to have enough people watching your live to
Yes.
have a good auction going on.
Yes. Yes.
And so that was, I'm, I would say I'm probably 75% that maybe I'll do another auction on there
Okay.
and 25% not. I need to get back to building some consistency on the platform, but just having the numbers turn out and somebody not just wanting a lychee for $200 on there, or like, cause
Sure.
I sold one for $5 and I sold one for, $4.50. But the one that I started at like $100 just to start to see how the night was going to go, it sold for 150 or some 150 or 125, and I was like, well, I can't start lychees at super low. I was curious to see because I had like probably 90 people in there watching it, and so
Damn.
um, so
That's a hard hit.
it is no, it is, and but the great thing
Good
is
for your name. Good for your
the positive
name.
thing, it was somebody local, and it was something I produced myself. So whatever, cool, awesome. Price of playing the game. Um,
Yeah,
But
sure.
I think you have to. I think for me, like I need to be somewhere in the probably the 200 to 300 people watching it, which I don't.
Okay.
I need
It's
to
not
do
impossible.
work. I need to do work
Yeah.
myself and get the views and the content and stuff like that that drive people. That when they see that I'm live, that hey, I want this and stuff
Yes.
on that part of it. I took. I'm taking this year off from work market
Are you
to
really?
I did not renew my account. I
Okay.
want to. I have a website, so let me try to maybe spend some
Nice.
time uploading stuff on there. Um, Maybe spend some dollars in some ads and stuff like that in that avenue, exploring the Palm Street section and stuff there. And man, I love this gecko. So you see the eggs, and you go over to the opposite end, right under the tegu. That gecko here. Oh, I love that gecko. That gecko's
Yeah,
so pretty.
is that
um,
what
so
low is
that
that a is it a
so that
cross?
is a GT. What is that? I have it right behind me. Where we at? That is a
Very unique.
STO8. That's a GT to a Lieberman Pinky.
Adam made some
So
crazy stuff.
yeah. Probably not fired
Very
up right now. Let's
interesting.
check. Nope, not fired up, unfortunately.
How are you liking? And I've heard nothing but phenomenal things about the All American Plant and Reptile Expo. I hear it's like the it show. Like they are.
The vibe is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know how far from Fredericksburg, Virginia you are. Um, this fall,
Doable.
there's a show this fall taking place. Would love to have you come out,
Really?
check it all out and stuff like that. We'll be there. It's the whatever that first week, that like 5th, 6th, 7th, or whatever of September.
I'll check it out for
That's
sure.
taking place. Feel free to reach out to me. I can get you more details on that part. But right now,
Sure.
it's the All American shows, Tinley Spring and Fall, um, Southeast Reptile Expo put on by Bob Vu, are the kind of what we're doing right now. Every once in a while, maybe I'll sign up for a local show here.
Okay.
If I just want to, go out and set up and be like, holy shit, Chris set up here today. Like, that's cool. But for the most part, I like to go walk around and hang out and chat with people that are just getting in the hobby that don't know who you are, but then people that are friends and people that I know that this is just a hobby for them, that they vend and breed on at the local shows, but they have their regular 9 to 5 jobs that they do and enjoy on that part of it. And so trying to keep that
Sure.
connection and stuff going as well. But yeah, I'd say for me, my biggest impact for me is when I go to shows. That's where I'm doing the best, selling the best, having good numbers on that part of it. We head to Pomona at the end of this summer, which our 4th time there. We've done better every time that we've been out there.
Awesome.
It's an absolutely fascinating show. If you ever get a chance to go out there and check it out,
I've heard about it. Been hearing
please,
about it
please
forever.
do. Yeah.
How many shows do you do a year?
So when I first started out, I think we went like 11 to 13 weeks straight almost doing shows. I think one year we did pretty close to like 32, 35 shows in a year. That was just when I was grinding and I was like, I need to be seen going somewhere, going to a lot of shows. I would say right now I'm probably somewhere between that 15 to 18 maybe on show wise.
You're going around the country, right? You're doing like tours damn near around the country.
So this coming weekend, last weekend was what's today? Today's Wednesday,
4th, 3rd, or the 4th.
So I guess this last weekend I didn't have a show going on. This was my first non-show weekend in a little bit, or like relaxed kind of a little bit, if you want to call it. So since Tinley, which is the middle of March, every 2 weeks I was at a show. It went Tinley, and then I went to Dallas in ERBC. Troy, Nick, and I and our friend Sean, we all just went up there to network and hang out. Then just went to walk around. And then 2 weeks later, I was at the All-American in Charlotte, vended. Then I was at the All-American in Denver, vended. I was at the All-American in Nashville the following 2 weeks. And I didn't vend that show. Nick happened to be out of country. And so I stepped up and kind of helped Troy help run the show, make sure things were going well.
Cool.
His family and mine and stuff. So that was a fun aspect, different vantage point of like, not only are the patrons coming into the show your customer, but your customers also the people who are buying tables and stuff like that. And so that then led, after that was the Kansas City, which is there's a local show going place, which I played a part in, and asking them to see if they were interested in doing a show in Kansas City. If they weren't, I was really considering wanting to do a show very similar to theirs here locally. So last year was their first show ever in Denver in April.
Okay.
I came home the next weekend was our local Kansas City show, and just the two different vibes, man. Like, they play like little music that's not overly loud. You can hear it, jam out to it, kind of has just a flow to it and stuff like that.
Sure.
The plants that they bring, the plant people they bring in, like there was this whole nursery, Tagawa's out there in Centennial, in Colorado. Their setup was right next to me. I got to look at this luscious green forest all weekend.
That's awesome.
Walked around, see different plants and stuff. not reptile people with a little bit of plants here and there, plant people with big leaves, little leaves, vines, cactuses, all sorts of different stuff that
It's
my
cool.
wife now loves, and I am taking and enjoying too, because now we are becoming some plant people
I
in
love
that
plants,
aspect.
dude.
So
I love them.
also
I love them.
maybe in another 5 years we'll have some why not leaves or
Why
something?
not?
I don't know.
Why not?
uh,
It's a very
but
natural, very, very natural relationship.
it
And
is it
a
it
lot of
very
people keep these love bioactives, right? Like
yep
I keep all types of geckos, over 200 geckos, and a good 100 of
yeah
them are in fully planted bioactive enclosures. The rest are in
yes
bins because they do well, and it's fine. But
yeah no
I enjoy building these mini enclosures, these mini jungles, if you will. An animal in them is just an addition to an ecosystem that I've built. And I'm not alone. It's becoming very popular. So to see this combination of plant and reptiles come together, it's almost like, why hasn't this been happening already? Like this should have. It's so
yeah
natural
no
that you would think that
what
it
took
should have always been that way.
that was literally my takeaway after like why hasn't this happened before? Like
Yeah.
this is this is hand fits glove type stuff here.
Yes.
And so then
Yes.
going back that next weekend to just a regular reptile show was like,
Yeah.
man, this is boring. Like,
Yeah. It's
where's
almost
the
it's
vibe?
unfortunate.
Where's the
I
and
for
so
sure.
like
I
I talked to my wife the next week and a half or so, and I was like, man, like I don't know if Nick and Troy plan on doing something here in Kansas City. I don't know what their thoughts are. I'm gonna reach out to them, but hey, you think if they're not interested, you think this is maybe something that we could do here? Like, I think our area, Kansas City, is very centrally located. Um, there are
sure.
several people, other breeders in this area of different species. Um, I love our local show. Um, but in some cases and sometimes you outgrow different shows and different steps that I'm
Yeah.
looking I need to have a different wave of people coming in to be buying New Caledonia geckos or understanding what a Bolin's is or understanding what black-headed pythons are, things like that. That
Sure.
um, that I think it's just the next progression or step that this wonderful city needs, and I think it would flourish with and stuff. And we'd actually called and looked at a couple different venues and stuff. I then reached out to my buddies over there at All American and talked back and forth, and they were super nice, and they're like, Chris, it's your home area. If it's something that you want to do yourself, we'll gladly help you and give you information and
Hmm.
all that stuff. Like we'll help you out, but like we we've talked a little bit about Kansas City. We think it'd be interesting, but we'll let you make if you want us to do All American there. We want you to help us, and that meant a lot.
That's awesome.
And I was like,
Hell yeah. Very
guys,
cool.
that's all you got to like. You guys kind of already have the idea and the mindset for this type of thing. Um, Plus, they were wanting to roll a little bit fast. I was looking for like next year, and they were looking for something at the end of that year and stuff. And I go, if you're cool with it, I would love to be your boots on the ground here and make it happen and make it work. And I can't thank those two and their families enough for allowing me to be a part of what they've created and stuff. So
Very cool. I think I talked to Brian Butler a couple weeks ago, and he's
yeah,
vended at them.
yep.
And
We were not roommates, but we were next to each other. Not
oh,
last
really?
show, the show before. Yeah,
There you go. We
we
had
had our
this
love and obsession with
conversation.
Lincoln Park.
We had a conversation about these online selling platforms in the old style of reptile show, and we both kind of came to the conclusion that if these reptile shows that have been around for a while don't start evolving, right? Like they're going to get phased out by all of
They
these
are.
other platforms.
No,
They
that's
need to
very true.
evolve. You need to evolve, or you're just going to be a thing of the past.
You
Like
don't
you
have to
said, you walk
reinvent
into
the
these
wheel.
shows that don't sell these things, and you're like this could be so much more, right? Like you could do so much more, and it's the vendors or the the people putting on the event looking out for you guys. Them bringing in plant people and whatever else they put on brings more people through the door, more opportunities you have to expose your animals to people that may not be. I mean, there's so many pluses to doing it, including themselves, you know, like why there's really no excuse to stay antique, if you will, you know, like they
definitely. Like, and I get like, sometimes change is hard, but you look at the world 10 years ago and how much has changed. 5 years ago, how much has changed. Like I just told you, me keeping leechies has been like a 6-year process, and how much has changed just for me in that 6 years. Like, definitely agree that it's the stale air and stuff like that, and like not trying to be rude or hurt anybody's feelings or step on any toes, but like I love and enjoy those shows, but like, where does it become beneficial and work for my business being on that platform, on that stage where when you can stay at home and perform just as well if you wanted to, or if you put some time and some effort and some well-placed time into it, you could do probably even better. So you take out the expense of going to a show, staying the night if you have to stay a night. All these other costs that go into that are then and so you're already starting out ahead on something. So
absolutely. I hope these people put on these other shows, these iconic shows, these older shows that have been around forever, I hope they're paying attention, because this All American Plant Reptile show is sweeping the nation, and it's all the talk. It's all anyone can talk about. I mean, it's like yes, there's flora fauna, but this is like the traveling flora fauna for reptiles, right? Like not just geckos, you know. But
have you been to flora fauna?
Yes.
Yeah,
this last one, the one before.
Okay, I haven't been. I want to make it up there sometime just to go.
You do well.
Check the box. And
you do well. You're that type of vendor that
I appreciate that.
Would want, you know. You got to thank me. You've done it. You know, I'm looking at, this is when you started this picture, right? To what you're at now.
That was Dude, our very first reptile show.
Give yourself credit, Chris. You got to give yourself credit. You are doing epic things, brother. You're not stopping it. I love it. I love your approach, man. You went right for the top and punched it. Love it.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
If you're trying to get anywhere and you're trying to make a business like you are, you have to, right? You have to, you know, take no prisoners, man. Like you got to go for it, man.
Yeah, you said that, and I've thought about it loosely, but that was never my intent. Like, I'm gonna go here. I went there because that's what I loved and what I enjoyed and what I thought was really cool at the time. And I want to work with stuff that I open up bins and tubs and cages and stuff like that and see, oh, that's flipping cool. Gotta take some pictures. Oh, gotta take some more pictures, you know, or whatever. Hey, hon, look at this little guy or whatever, you know. And like the cresteds, the gargs, I looked at cresteds and thought of them the same thing as ball pythons. Like, there are so many people already working with them that how do I make a name for myself there? Gargs, I wouldn't say that's the same case, but the gargs just didn't do it for me like the leechies did it. And then that's kind of what I ran with. And to hear you kind of say that, like, yeah, I did. I went straight for the top and said, hey, it's either going to make me or break me. And
it almost has a reverse type of, I don't really know how to articulate this, but you can do just as well almost now with cresties. Like you said earlier, you have to have things on the table for everybody, right? Yep. Like, it would just be the smart thing to do for business.
Yes, 100%.
And you have built your name with the Leachianus, right? Like, you've already established yourself, set your place with the Leachianus. Yep. Now that you have this name, then not everybody can afford or house a Leachianus. Now, having crested geckos and gargoyles on your table, you're just killing them from all angles, man.
Exactly, because, like, you know, if someone's buying, like, oh, I would love to have one of these. This price point isn't, you know, for me at the moment and stuff. But then, like, they get to know you, they like the person you are, you like your business, or like whatever someone decides why they want to buy from that specific person. That was like, I got to have these other things at lower price points. So then, like, someone could still, if they wanted to support us or, you know, wanted to get a gecko, that there is still that ability for that to happen. here, and kind of like why I sell Pangea for that reason. I don't expect some every time someone sees me at an expo that they buy a gecko from me. Like, but hey, I'll buy my food from Chris. I got my gecko from him. Let me buy some food from him this time or whatever. Let me show him some love, with some food or whatever on that part. And so no, definitely nail on that part. And like earlier this year, before things started hatching out, I was very Leachy heavy, and so I was feeling a little bit of the crux of not having other items on the table. It's like, man, I guess I'll do a really good deal on this one, but it's only this one, and once it's gone, it's gone. Like, but like outside of that, like, yeah.
You evolve well.
Yeah.
I mean, just in this conversation, I can see how you have adapted to little things happening over this short period of time. No offense, we've done a lot in a very short period of time. You've changed and adapted. You didn't take things as losses, like this isn't working, and stop. You've said, okay, this isn't working. How do I make it work? And you've made adjustments. You've kept going forward, man. I'm a fan, dude. Like I love it. I think Flawless Crested Geckos does this too. Like you have a very similar style to Flawless.
Yeah,
Flawless is
Will and
always
Audra
going
awesome.
forward, and they are very similar. You have a very similar, business sense as far as always, adapting, growing business plan. Like it's refreshing. I'm a hobby breeder. I breed because I love science. I love reptiles.
Being your own science like that. I literally tell kids that at programs. Like when you get old, when you get old, and you start getting your science classes. And this is the reason I love it. Like the different colors, the combos, the combinations, things. I'm like my own little mad scientist. Like it is amazing. That part of it. That's cool. And love and respect. And that's so cool that you would compare us to Flawless on that part. Definitely some people that I have some history with and love talking to them and seeing them when we go to different shows, and just such a family love type there for them. And,
absolutely too. You guys are similar for a lot of reasons.
What's funny? So I was talking to Will one time, and I was like, "Hey man, I know you had some Leachies. Do you still got those? Like, what do you got? Like, I'm just kind of curious. Like, anything like maybe I need?" He's like, "Chris, man, you flexed us out of Leachies." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Chris, I came by your table and you had a whole gang of them. Like, I knew I didn't need to compete with you." Like, I'm like, oh, that was never my goal. Like, I just wanted to, that's just what I had. And like I said, like, I never wanted to have Christy Geckos because I know you guys have some really good stuff on that end. But it was just that moment of just us laughing and thinking back to this different time set and stuff like that. I remember one time they had some posted up online, and I didn't see any for a little bit, so I was kind of curious. I was like, "What do you guys got for Leachy still?" None.
I didn't even know they had them.
Knew. Yeah, it was probably like I want to say like probably 3 years ago. When was the first time I met them?
Really?
I want to say it was like 3 years ago. They had some. They put some up for sale, but I didn't know. You never know what anybody has. Just because they have those listed doesn't mean they're like sitting on a stockpile of stuff. And so I was just kind of curious.
The more I think about it, when you go to shows, does anybody who has Leachies the way you do? Like, I could think of maybe 2 people that might set up a table full of Leachies, but you're probably the only one at every show that has a full-blown spread of Leachianus, huh?
So yeah, I'd say like Carl Vargas, South Tex Gex. Like, I see him. He's done a couple of the All-American shows now. He usually has.
He's selling all Leachies? I hear him known for like Sarah Sonorum.
I was gonna say he does have Sarah's,
his iguanas,
he does have his bacon
like
line. That's true.
But you're like known for Leachies, like Leachies. You have Leapin' Leachies, I guess, and Boris from BB's, but he doesn't go out your way. I mean, you're the only. You're the only Leachy. Who else?
My friend
no
Bob,
one's as big as you.
Yeah, no, I guess like I can't. You're making a brown guy.
That's impressive. That's impressive to produce enough, have enough to put a whole table out of Leachianus, man. That's like big shit.
Yeah, it's like I remember the stages. Like, I'd have a couple babies on the table to like I'd have a few babies on the table. So I had a lot of babies and a couple juveniles. And maybe it was like a season and a half ago, I hit the mark to where I had subadults, I had juveniles, I had the whole thing across the board, and I was
Locales,
like,
crosses,
I've
colors.
got it. Like this table right
Yeah.
here looks amazing. I couldn't wait for this moment. It's finally here, but I have literally localities, crosses, color, what whatever somebody could possibly be looking
Yeah.
for, you could possibly find it on my table if you just took the time or a second to
And
look at
price
it and stuff.
ranges.
Yeah, no,
And
like I
price range. And you have
price,
animals that
yeah,
are not screwing the hobby low, but
yeah, no, like I
they're
try
low
to,
enough that someone could have one if they really, really
yeah,
wanted
no,
one,
like,
that you have an
and
affordable animal for them.
how that go. Usually, my babies, I try to sell babies around that 450 to 600, depending on what it
It's
is
very
and
fair.
stuff. I think that's very reasonable for Leachy on
Absolutely
that
is.
price. I'll do some show specials every once in a while. I'll do a $500 gecko that's 350, but there's only one. First come first, like it's one on the table. I'll do something maybe I know I'm not gonna work with. I've had it for a while,
Mm,
but I'll do maybe I'll market for maybe it's a $2,000 animal. I'll market for 1,250 or something. Like you're getting a really good. It's a really quality animal. A lot of time
yeah.
spent on it. On that, like there was a lady in Colorado. Um, I think I had it marked for 25. No, I had it marked for two. Um, and I think I had on the or maybe it was like 22. I don't know. Anyways, I think I had it on sale for like 18, and I could tell this lady she fell in love with it. I did. She was looking at geckos, and I just put a big gecko in her arm just so she could feel it and check it out and stuff like that. And one of my best conversations from that whole weekend, even if the lady didn't buy anything, just on the same wavelength. Um, she loved bioactive type things, kind of giving me her reptile story. Really cool lady from New Mexico. And so she's like, "Ah, this is definitely on my list. I saw you on a couple different podcasts. I'm definitely going to make this happen at some point." I'm like, no pressure, no worries for me, but take your time, look, enjoy, whatever. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And I'll be at this Denver show every time it takes place. We also ship. All of our shipping is free on that part.
Oh,
And
that's good.
so,
Guys, don't forget that, guys. You heard
yeah,
it here. Free
yeah,
shipping, man.
free shipping,
Epic
man. Like
style.
you're taking the time to buy something from me. You're buying
That's
an
huge.
animal that
That's huge.
has a cost
It's
to it.
huge.
Um,
It's huge. Not
for
for
me to
nothing.
charge you,
To buy
for me to
$1,000
charge you
animal,
shipping, for me
it
to charge you
drives me
shipping,
nuts.
kind of
Drives me
crazy?
nuts, dude.
Yeah,
Drives me nuts. When I'm spending, I ordered $2,600 one time. A couple
yeah.
Sarah
Okay.
Sonors for $2,600. The guy's like $65 for ship. I'm like, dude, I'm sending you $2,600 and you're gonna charge me $65 for shipping, dude.
Yep.
Like we can't like figure something out
You
here. I
can't
don't want a
figure
free
this out.
gecko. I bought what I want. I don't need a
Yeah, I
free
want
gecko. I need
this.
free
Yeah.
shipping.
Or yeah, or you make the shipping work. And you tell, all right, I'm going to take $65 off this gecko's
It's
price
huge.
and
It's
be different or
huge.
whatever. But that was one of the things early I wanted to stand out and try to build my online presence before a lot of people were doing free shipping. Hasn't worked exactly how I wanted, but hey, man, like if you know, and the ones that do know and do buy from us, stuff like that, I do appreciate it. But
Sure.
she ended up falling in love with this animal. This animal, great animal, has some great genetics to it. Going to be a big GT that can produce color animals, and but I assessed that was not going to be its life. That lady doesn't need to pay the premium. Like breeder wise, if you're picking up a breeder, like that's probably a good investment animal. So I took another like 300, 400 bucks off for her or whatnot, just
That's
because
cool.
it was going to go home to be a really, really awesome pet.
Cool
She
pet.
didn't need
Yeah.
to pay the price of the breed of what I had, the things that she could do with it, because that
Sure.
was never going to be tapped for her. So being able
Sure.
to read and understand those parts, and it absolutely made her day. Like,
That's great. I
in that
wonder if people
mindset.
take that in consideration. They do that with dogs a lot, right? Like when I bought my dog, I had to pay
Uh-huh.
I paid a lot of money for my dog. Probably, it was $5,000. I got him
What kind
for
of dog
like
you got?
$4,900. One American Bully, a standard American Bully.
Okay.
But I didn't get him neutered, and not because I wanted to breed him, but I just have my feelings about my dog and
Yeah.
his
No.
overall well-being.
Yeah.
But they wanted an extra fee for breeding
Because you
rights,
weren't.
and I'm like, No, if I wanted to breed them, I had to pay more money, which I
Oh,
didn't
gotcha.
because I
Okay.
didn't have any plans to breed them. But my
Yeah.
point is with the geckos, like I don't know if people other than yourself, which is an awesome point, but if an animal's not going to be reproduced and you're not going to be making thousands off of this animal and you still want to give them a great home and you want this animal, you should maybe give them a less price and just knowing an
Yeah.
animal you produce is going to a great home and they're not going to be making money
Yeah.
off it. You
No.
should give them
No.
a
And I've
price
I've
for a deal for
I've
that.
done that several times for different
That's awesome.
different people that it's been a bigger animal, or maybe
Very
not a
cool.
bait, but like a well-started sub-adult juvenile type thing, that they fall in love with this certain animal. And it's like, well, I mean, you could maybe you enjoy it so much you decide one day you want to, and whatever, cool. But I don't feel, just reading you the person you are and you telling me your kind of background, your story and stuff, that
Sure.
I don't think this animal's ever going to breed. Like, cool. Like, I
Sure.
am excited that you love this animal that much. That only is going to help me when someone comes over and asks, "Where's that from?" or "Where'd you get this from?" or whatnot and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just it made the conversation, made my weekend, and then just the fact that then it turned into a sell even put it over the top. Um, but yeah, no, it was
Very
really just
cool.
that customer
Touched to life for at least
side.
30
Yeah,
years.
no,
You know, do you feel? And I don't want to keep you all night, Chris. We're coming
no,
up
you're
on
fine,
two
man.
hours. Man, I
I'm
feel
really
so bad, dude.
enjoying
I
this
could talk to you
conversation.
until the sun comes up, bro. Literally, I could talk to you until the sun comes up.
Yeah.
Do you? What statistically wise, what percentage of your animals do you think go to just pet homes versus people that are breeding them? Are people seeking
Okay.
you out for
Yeah, yeah,
breeding
yeah.
animals, or
Okay, that's
what do you
fair.
think?
I would say that within like the last year, I feel like I have stuff
Breeders.
that is for either someone that maybe is just a little bit behind me, that they're just starting up, ramping up their idea and wanting to breed Leachianus geckos. They've went through the crested gargoyle Chihuahua phase of life, and all right, we want to get one of these guys and stuff like that. I feel that when I first started, I didn't have any of no breeder was coming over me to buy anything from that part. So I were going to people that really were wanting to have one. And then like in my area in Kansas City at the time, like as going to shows and vending, like I was it. Like that was my rux of the cube there on that part of it. But then now I would say, like, this recently, at a December show, I did a trade with my friend Bob at JBI Reptiles, and it was really cool that he thought I had some really nice colored animals on my table, that he wanted to pick up and swap some of his high colored stuff with me to work into some projects, and taking a step back and realizing, like, I bought my second gecko from this guy. Like, or no, I bought my third gecko from him. I bought my third gecko from him. I've known him for a while. Um, and then like just recently I saw him and he's like, dude, those geckos I got from you, like they're doing fantastic. I can't wait. You know, I still a few years out on them and stuff like that, but just like kind of giving me my flowers on it and stuff. And it was really unique and like a transcendent type moment that was really cool. Or
Sure.
sometimes like Andrew and Sarah Gilpin they've walked around at Tinley. Doug will, comment on some of the stuff I post sometime. And so just getting their feedback, or my buddy Connor, who got me started in all this madness. And I have a couple things I bought from him that are paired up this year. And so he's like, dude, that's just crazy how you went with this and stuff on that part. And so like, I feel moving into this next year, I'll have stuff to be on every, whether if it's you breeding, if it's maybe Doug over Ridiculous Rex, maybe Carl at South Tex Gex, you're breeding, like you maybe want to come stop by. We got to stop by Chris's stuff and see what he got real quick on that aspect, to kind of, before we, pull the trigger on something, or whatever I feel is kind of the step or progress that I'm making there.
Would you say that's a goal? Is that something you want to do? Do you want to produce just breeding quality animals with the occasional? I mean, no matter what, you can breed two phenomenal animals and still get a pet quality
No, I think
one. But
I think for me,
visually,
the whole goal or mindset has been, I want something on a little bit of something, and maybe a
For
little bit of
everyone.
something hurts me because I don't have a lot of bit of this and a lot of bit of that.
Yeah.
But a little bit for anybody who comes to my table, that
Yeah.
uh, the person that is Leachianus dreaming can make that
Hmm.
dream happen, or the person
Sure.
that is looking to, like, I need a male or a female to go with this right here.
Mm.
It's this locality, or it's this kind of, what do you think? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, right over here, I got this. Here's what mom and dad, here's what some of the siblings look like real quick. On that piece of it. I like being able to service the top, the middle, and the bottom, or however you want to. If I had to pick an area, I'd probably just pick the middle and the bottom
Mm.
on that part, because I think in most cases, not that I'm not against trades. Like, for the most part, I don't know how. Like, I feel that at the top, it's more trading
Yeah.
that takes place on some stuff here or
Which
there.
is
On the
cool.
Yeah, which is dope. Like, on that part of it, you're sending something to somebody, and
Mm-hmm.
they like something just as much as you like something of theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just an equal sign of respect and stuff like that.
Sure.
Um,
Absolutely.
and so, but at the same time, like, being able to have some of that really cool. Does it sell? Is it still an 8,000 or a 15, or like
That's the
when
truth, you know?
like
Those type of
like when
animals have a
Korea?
very small,
Mm-hmm.
like, crowd. You know, they have a very
Yep.
small audience of people that are going to go out there and spend that much money. It has to
Yeah.
be someone, like you said, looking for a very specific breeding
Yeah.
program that's going to go and spend 7-8 grand on a Leachy. Like, so what's going to happen with that? The odds of you selling it, and especially
Yeah,
at a
like
show, are slim to none.
like Johnny Rex, he has his stuff is sick that he pulled. Absolutely, his Draco line, like,
Yeah. Just saw David did a little tour at his house. You know,
yeah,
Tiki did a tour at his house. Some
yeah.
of those animals, I was looking at, I'm like, dude, you know. But at the end of the
You
day,
have
if I had 7 grand to
those
spend on a
blotch
gecko
those
without my
blotch
wife
skinks are cool.
executing me, I'm not. Like,
Yeah,
but I get it. And damn, they're incredible animals, you know.
yeah,
But as far as a business in yourself, you're doing it right, you know. Like you said, if you stacked your table with $7,000 animals, you not going to say you would never sell anything, but you would make a lot more money selling the lower to medium
yeah.
tiered
No,
animals
definitely.
all day, as opposed to one top of the line animal that you had to make the universe line up exactly to make the one sale. It's
Exactly. You need that one. You need that one person to walk through the door,
mm-hmm,
to come by your table, to
mm-hmm.
blah blah blah, all those things, and you got to be at the right show. Like,
Sure
and
do.
so, uh, yeah, no, I think the sweet spot for me is that 500 to 1,200. I think is where the geckos fall and flow pretty easily. You get to that 15
It's a nice
range,
price
and
range.
you get to that 15 range, and people, you're talking to someone like us who's, very gecko oriented and stuff like that. They're looking for some project or something particular and stuff. And once you start moving past that number and
Mm-hmm.
stuff there. So,
Absolutely. All right, so we're at about 2 hours now, and again, like I said, I could talk to you literally all day, dude. And there's so many questions I
no, you're
want to
good,
ask that I
man.
still haven't even gotten to.
Yeah,
But
maybe I hop back
where
on
can
sometime.
everyone?
And
Absolutely, I would love to have you back. I would love to have you
yeah,
back. I would love to hear how you set up your animals, how you know throughout the life stages change housing them. I would love to talk to you about feeding and maybe get into some genetics and the GT localities and stuff. I mean, I would love to have you back.
yeah,
But
no,
today,
definitely.
I think we did a good job of showing the people how awesome, how epic you are. I want people to get more familiar with the people that are selling these animals to maybe help you guys make more sales. It's like you had mentioned earlier. I mean, we have the tendency of buying animals from people that we know we can trust and people that we may
Yeah,
feel like
no,
we know.
100%.
And the
No,
more
just
we
like
can
when
do
you.
that with these type of things, the better it is for everybody.
No, I agree. Like, when you go to a show, like when I go to a show thinking it's my first time, I know I don't expect to hit a home run. These people may have not ever seen me before, and so I would be like, not that I'm a sketchy person or you're a sketchy person or anybody, like that person you see for the first time, but is this a fly by night person? Like,
Yep.
why? Like, I did perfect example. I did the first All-American Charlotte show last fall, and uh, really good show, really good turnout. But I got a couple times from customers just because they have like the show me's and the Repticons that run through there a lot. That, man, we didn't expect this show to be so well. Like we just kind of wanted to come out and check it out, but we weren't expecting to spend any money because these other
Mm,
shows kind of come through there and they're kind of hit and miss and stuff like
mm-hmm.
that. So it was interesting hearing that from a customer on the other side that, yes, we all think people think like that. Yes, people are thinking about that when they go around and they're
Sure.
going to shows on that aspect. And I
Sure.
appreciate you having us on, and enjoy following your stuff on social media and stuff like that. And this
Appreciate that.
conversation has been just a blessing, and I've really enjoyed
Oh
being
yeah.
able to kind of just
Great conversation.
dive in and just have a lot of fun, man.
Absolutely. Where can everyone find you as far as if anybody wants to get a hold of you? I know your social medias, guys. Follow him on Palm Street. Even if he's not on there selling right now, go follow EPICSTYLE on Palm Street. Where can
Yeah,
everyone
no.
find you? Maybe your next show coming up. Give us your
So
business pitch.
the next show we're going to be at is in California. It's going to be Super Show out there at the Fairplex there in Pomona. There's actually going to be Fish and Birds there too in different buildings. Last January show, I think they had like 28,000 people through the door. It was absolutely nuts. One of
That's
our best
awesome.
shows this year. Yeah,
That's
super cool,
awesome.
super crazy. We have a great table, group of people at our table with us and stuff on our little island to make it all happen. And that's the last weekend of this month. And then as far as like finding us on the web and stuff like that, the quickest way is social media. I'm probably most active on Instagram. That's EPICSTYLE LLC, all one word there. And then our website is whynotreptiles.com. We have a quick chat section there. You can always drop in, ask questions about care or thoughts or whatever. That was one of the bigger things I always said when I first started out. I want people to be educated in reptiles, and sometimes you buy a reptile from someone and you never hear from them again. And I've had that feeling and I didn't like it. Not that I'm the perfect person or have all the answers to life's reptile questions, but if there's something that you think I might be able to help you out with, some care or some different things on that aspect, or maybe it's time to move up an enclosure, you think maybe on that part, reach out. Love to help out. Love to give you my 2 cents on what I think might help you out on that process. So
Very cool.
yeah, no,
Very
feel free to
cool.
reach out, man.
Where can people, if they wanted to schedule you to come do a show or a birthday party, or how would
Yeah,
people
so
get a hold? Same
so
thing,
all of
social media,
yeah, same thing. You just our website. You'll go up to the tab
website.
whynotreptiles.com. You'll click the party section. You'll see it easy. You'll go down the calendar, the live calendar. You can set your booking dates and all that stuff on there. Very simple on that aspect. It's a $75 deposit up front, and then we'll reach out, email, get you all figured out and stuff like that, and get you taken care of.
How far do you travel for that? How far would, like, in what regions, like for anyone listening that would love to schedule you for a birthday party or something, like what is your distance? Like how far would you actually go, or is there a fee or
That's a good question. I've traveled as far one time as like a couple hours away. We agreed on a little extra fee to like cover some things.
Sure.
On our website, it states like I do the Kansas City metro area. I just figured it was easier to do that section and not have like a mileage based area, like every 20 or 50. I'll do that. We look at everything like case by case. I've had like day camps reach out and different camps and stuff reach out that were a little farther away, and we just figure it all out in that section for it.
So the best thing to do is just ask, guys. Don't close mouths, don't get fed. If you don't know if you're in his district or zone and you want them there, just reach out and ask.
No, and if you reach out and it's like I've had somebody reach out and they didn't realize what state we were in at one time or whatever. And because I'll do I'm close enough to Kansas. I service Kansas and Missouri side and stuff like that. But but I was like, well, there's actually someone else in your area that you can that can help you with this type of thing. I don't know what their pricing or information is, but here's who you want to reach out to on that aspect and stuff. So yeah,
very cool. Very, very, very cool. Again, love what you're doing. I think you have a very bright future. Not that you need to hear my opinion whatsoever, but I think that everything you're doing, I mean, I have this feeling in my gut that you will succeed at whatever you do. Whatever you want to succeed at, Chris, I genuinely feel you will be very good at. And
I appreciate that.
Again, awesome having you here. Great conversation. I wish you nothing but the best.
No, appreciate it. I guess one more thing. I guess if anybody's going to Daytona, we'll be. I just saw this. Remember, as I was wearing my shirt, we'll be at Daytona. We're not vending. I feel you should have if you should have a couple shows a year that you go to just network, so you don't have the ball and chain of the table weighing on you to get back to. That you can walk around freely and network and talk to people, check out things and stuff like that. So
Daytona's one of them.
And so that's definitely a good place to go walk around, have some free time at and stuff like that. So me and the fam bam will be down there hanging out.
I might be there myself, to be honest with you.
Oh, really? Okay.
Sure, yeah.
No, let me know, and definitely keep in touch on that
Absolutely.
part. It'd be definitely good to connect.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Please go follow Chris, EPICSTYLE, everywhere, all platforms. Check out his website, Why Not Reptiles. I'll post a link for it in the description when we post this. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I hope you see how great of a person Chris is and how good of a business EPICSTYLE is, and support him any way you can, guys. You know, that's what this hobby is all about, man. We got to lift each other up, man, help each other out, and support each other, man. All that hoopla bull crap stuff, done. Geckos are what brings us together, not what's going to drive us apart. Stay weird, everybody. I appreciate you.
I love that.